Is that video real? Now, that is a question a lot of us might be asking nowadays because of the fact that deepfake has almost become a household word. Now, whether it is about a famous Bollywood star making a political statement, or whether it is a politician for that matter saying something out of the ordinary in his election speech, in his or her election speech. We have seen many such examples of manipulated videos, as they are also called, in recent times. And in election season, especially, they are largely being tagged. Even by the Election Commission, as one of the main ways in which disinformation or misinformation is being spread. Deepfake menace is a real issue that needs to be tackled, and we need to be more aware as a society as to what it is and what can be done about it. But I'll begin with identifying what is a deep fake, what is a cheap fake or shallow fake, and what are altered videos. And we'll also touch upon voice phishing in this episode as well. So let's take a look at what is a deep fake. Now, as the name itself says that it is a fake video, it is a video which is altered through artificial intelligence, and the video is usually of a person, and it shows them saying or doing something which they have never done at all. It is also a person's face, as we know, can be swapped onto another person's body or vice versa. That can also happen. We've seen examples of several celebrities falling a victim to such kind of deepfake videos. So that is the basic definition of a deepfake video. Now, slightly less graded version of that is a cheap fake or a shallow fake. In this, as the name once again explains in a way, no AI tool is used, no artificial intelligence tool is used. In fact, cheaper technology is used to make shallow fake or cheap fake videos. For example, you could use Photoshop. People are using Photoshop to make these videos, and essentially, videos can also be sped up or slowed down. That can also be one way of producing a manipulated or a fake video. Um, One example which comes to mind is that of Nancy Pelosi, the US House Speaker. She was actually a victim of a cheap fake video in which her video was slowed down in order to, in a way, project as if her speech was slurring. I also want to touch upon quickly what's an altered video or an edited video. So basically, it's simply a video which is spliced together, two different portions of a person's speech for that matter. For example, could be edited together, brought in together to give a different meaning altogether from what that person originally said. So that is an example of an altered video. And what is phishing? So phishing essentially, as I mentioned, is voice phishing. It's practically a fraudulent phone call in order to lure people to share sensitive information that is not the voice of the person. Somebody is impersonating another individual for that matter in order to convince you, if you get such a call, to share sensitive information or to do something that they want you to do. Now that we have covered what is deepfake, what are the different kinds of altered and manipulated videos that are out there, we are also going to go in depth and look at what are the rules and regulations which are in place which can help you to protect yourself from such manipulated videos, and also whether the government can actually do more when it comes to curbing this menace. And to discuss this further, I'm joined by Archis Chaudhary, senior correspondent, and he works on data and policy for Boom. Boom, of course, as we know, is also running a fact check unit. And Archis, along with his colleagues, has actually worked a lot in terms of how fake videos are being used and the kind of trends that evolve from it. So, Archis, we want to start with a basic, simple question. How does one identify a deepfake?
Yeah, thanks, Tanima, for having me on the show. So when it comes to deepfakes, let's just say this is a very fastly, quickly evolving technology. So whatever signs we use today to identify them might not be applicable tomorrow. So when it comes to deepfakes, fact checkers are extremely dependent on technology. Previously, the signs we used to look for were basically lip synchronization, if it was consistent, the appearance of the teeth. So usually you would find inconsistencies whenever an alteration or a creation was made using AI. But as these technologies get better, the more data is fed to these technologies, the better they get at creating something that you probably can't tell without the use of detection technologies. So, yeah. the usual signs that, again, as I said, teeth, fingers, extra fingers, or very smooth skin tones, like you could use them to detect some of the videos that we see out there, but like very soon they will not be applicable anymore. So that's a problem that we're looking at.
Right. This is, of course, as you said, like, the more and more we are seeing or flooded with such videos, I guess it becomes easier to identify them as well. But at the same time, how easy is it to make such videos? I mean, can anybody just take out their phone, have download some app, and make a fake video or an altered video?
Yes, some of the basic types of videos could be made like very easily using just an app on a phone. If you would like to go a little further, do mix different kinds of deepfake technologies like face swapping, lip syncing, voice cloning, then you would need to get maybe some paid tools. But even then, it is quite cheap to actually make a deepfake using just like $10, which is less than 1,000 rupees. You can successfully impersonate somebody. And this is despite the existing regulations platforms have that prohibit certain types of deepfakes or Gen AI images or videos.
As you said, that if some of these are found as apps, do you think, I'm sorry, I'm bringing in the regulation question at this point as well. I intended to touch upon it later. But shouldn't there be some sort of a regulation in terms of these apps also, which can be used? Because, of course, there's a positive and a commercial side of using AI generate and such AI tools as well. But in terms of the kind of menace
Yeah.
that we are seeing now, do you think there could be some sort of a regulatory curb in terms of people just being able to download such apps on their phones and making fake videos?
See, regulations here would be extremely tough given the complexity of the situation. And as you rightly said, there are multiple uses of these technologies, and it's very hard to blanket ban it, saying that it could be misused. The same goes for many other technologies available out there. For example, social media, which, as we know, with enough evidence, has caused a lot of trouble in a lot of countries, has led to violence, has led to, erosion of democracy. So the problem that comes here in this case is identifying very clearly what the problems are and then seeing what the current regulations, how they kind of cover these areas, and then identify the gaps in regulation and then go about seeing what new regulations we might need. And there's also a lot of lack of clarity as to what deepfakes really are. The word has been misused by a lot of people, including media channels, including top politicians, legislators. So there needs to be a lot of clarity on what we are actually regulating so as to not create a regulation that might be misused or not really used for the purpose that it's intended for.
Right. And what are some of the tools that can be used to identify deep fakes or fake videos? I mean, as we can download apps and make fake videos, are there also tools downloadable which will help us in fighting this?
There are a couple of tools. I'll be very honest, when it comes to videos and audio clones, there are very few free tools that are openly available. And there's a reason why that's so. So when it comes to images, you can go to several tools available online, like Hive Image Detector, and I think InVid also provides like a plugin on Chrome browser with using which you can upload videos and images to get it checked. But when it comes to a bit more advanced forms of deepfakes, there are a few tools that are out there that can be subscribed to, or you can work in collaboration with the creators. But the thing is, these tools
Right.
are not made available publicly because what the creators of these detection tools, what they fear is, if these tools are available, then those who create the apps for creation of deepfakes, they can reverse engineer these tools and then make their tools creation tools better. It's
Okay.
always the detection and creation is always a game where the deepfake creators always need to find out better ways to beat the detectors, and then detectors need to improve them. So this adversarial game that goes on in Gen AI image and video creation.
Yeah.
So that's why these detection tools that are a bit more sophisticated, that are not really out there, but like journalists, activists may reach out to these people and have access to
Right.
their tools.
Yeah, that's interesting that you can actually use the solution to create a better AI generating video making tool. So if somebody is a victim of deepfake, let's say like whether it's a celebrity or somebody like you and me, what can we do? I mean, besides filing a police FIR, which is the obvious thing in case we want to take legal action, but what else can we do?
Hmm. So there are different ways, obviously, reporting it to whichever platform, wherever it's being shared, because you can report something on the grounds of impersonation. And also in India, any kind of legal action you want to take is also on those existing grounds of impersonation or video modesty that already exist. Beyond that, there isn't a lot we can actually do. Detection or tracking down those who had actually created them is extremely difficult because of the kind of anonymity these tools provide. Very few tools actually watermark or require their users to have actually a username and using which they can trace who made what. So many of the tools available are very free, or anybody can anonymously sign up and create these kind of deepfakes.
Are
So
social media
it's
platforms, do you
really,
think,
really,
sorry, do you think social
sorry,
media
go ahead.
platforms are prompt in terms of responding to such requests? Like if I am the victim and I write directly to any of these platforms, are they prompt in terms of heeding to the request? Do they take it seriously?
Yes or no? Yes, they do respond, but maybe you can argue that they don't respond fast enough because these kind of videos or images, once they hit the internet, they do the damage instantly. Anybody can record them or download them further, share it on other anonymous channels. So the promptness needs to be faster. They need to respond even faster. The redressal mechanisms need to be better so that they need to have better content moderators looking into specifically these kind of videos before it's shared or pushed out further on these channels. So there's definitely something lacking in terms of what these distribution channels can do
Also, that brings us to
to
the
stop
question
the
of
spread of these
regulation.
things.
Right. That brings me to the question that I wanted to ask initially. I told you that I wanted to touch upon later as well on regulation and what the government can do, what the center can do, and even, why we are doing this video at this point, partly also because of the fact that this is election season. And we've seen the way manipulated videos are being used in order to present a certain picture about somebody, whether it's a star or a big politician. So what more can regulatory bodies do? What more can election commission do in terms of curbing this?
So when we look at the problem of deepfakes, it's actually a two-faced, a two-sided problem. On one side, it is all these altered images or videos being shared to impersonate, deceive, and on the other hand, it's using this term to dismiss actual evidence. So if we think about bringing in more regulations, we need to be very explicitly clear about what is a deepfake and what we're regulating. We have also seen this term being used to describe other kind of misleading videos that are done using simple editing tools and are not necessarily altered using AI. So when we are looking at these kind of specific alterations, very sophisticated AI-led alterations, we need to be very clear about that. Secondly, I think where the problem currently lies in how easy it is for someone to actually report when they are actually a victim of deepfakes. So redressal mechanisms would definitely be where we need to work on because we do have existing laws to tackle down this problem, but it's extremely hard for someone to actually report this as such. So we can also learn from some of the other regulations done by other countries. For example, in Britain, in the US, they're bringing up the Defiance Act that was proposed by one of their lawmakers, also which makes it illegal to share non-consensual sexually explicit deepfakes. Same in Britain, where the creation of it itself is made illegal. Also, there are regulatory gaps there as well. In Britain, for example, you have to the intent to deceive and harm someone, which is again, I think, criticized a lot by a lot of lawyers there, because if you are sharing non-consensual, sexually explicit imagery, it by itself, by its nature, is intended to cause harm. So we can definitely learn from these other countries and see what they're doing, their laws are lacking. For example, EU AI Act Article 50 does sort of touch upon how the creators of these tools should actually provide some form of detection in order to help the law enforcement agencies. So there are things out there that we can definitely learn from and think about and deliberate on before implementing something. And we should definitely not rush into this implementation because it can backfire in a lot of different ways, as we have seen with many rules and laws lately as well.
Right. And a last question to you, although I did kind of ask this earlier, but we live in an era of oversharing, right? Where everything is practically whatever can be shared is on social media. So, considering the fact that everyone has seen the impact of deepfake, it is so easy to make and it can actually, anybody can fall a victim to it. So, what are some of the ways in which, is there any lifestyle change that people need to take in order to make sure that they're protected? Of course, not going paranoid, but how can we actually do whatever it takes in order to protect our families or protect ourselves from deepfake, where it is so easy to con somebody using a deepfake video, or even wishing for that matter, voice phishing. It's so easy to actually cheat somebody if the tool can actually impersonate your body language or your voice. So what can we do in order to, how can people take precautions in their day-to-day lifestyle to protect themselves?
So, when it comes to deepfake disinformation, I think the advice would be applicable to any type of disinformation. If you receive such videos or any kind of information that you feel is quite bewildering and you need to share with others, I think I would recommend that you slow down and process that information first. Also, when you're targeted with these kind of scam attempts using deepfakes, say you get a phone call with a family member, you can hear the voice of a family member talking to you, saying they're in trouble and they will need some money. Uh, don't be hasty in acting. Maybe try to call some people who this person would know before making a decision, and you really need to confirm that this thing is true before sharing this information or reacting to this. So definitely processing this information is very, very, very important.
Sorry, in connection to that, I wanted to ask, are there any specific trends you feel that, some of these deepfake videos have, or especially the ones in which a criminal act is involved? As I mentioned, that, somebody's asking you for money or trying to convince you about something, or to just asking you to share sensitive information. Is there any
Mhm.
particular trend you feel that you've noticed a pattern in some of these videos or phishing calls?
See, the patterns would actually be general for a lot of different scams that we have seen lately online, which is where you would be pushed to share information or money almost immediately. So from the scammer's perspective, you can only imagine that they have only one attempt at scamming someone, and if this person knows something's up, this contact is gone, right? So on the other end, if someone is really pushing to for you to share information on money almost immediately, and this person can't wait, it is highly likely, almost surely, a scam. I mean, it could be the police contacting you, telling you need to share money, or it could be a family member saying you need to immediately pay for them to, be relieved of some kind of trouble. Slow down, don't make any haste, and you know that this could definitely be a scam.
Right. Archis, thank you so much. You've been very helpful in terms of helping us understand some of these things, some of these aspects, and also legally or regulation wise, what can be done in order to fight deep fake, which has almost become like a normal word for us nowadays. Thanks so much for joining us on NDTV.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All in all, AI generated videos can be a pain, but there are also some good or positive use of such videos. For example, we all remember that famous campaign by Bollywood star amid the pandemic, where he actually acknowledged several local stores by name who were helping out people like you and me during COVID. So that is one campaign in which AI tools were used to generate several multiple fake videos, but for a good cause. Another good use of such AI tools, of course, can be a politician actually delivering a speech in multiple languages. That also is something that we have seen during this election season. So it's not all bad, as is the case with any kind of advanced technology when it comes to such fake or manipulated videos. But there's nothing fake, of course, about our attempt to give you information about several aspects of this technology that can be used or how it's being used. And in order to, if you like this video, you can of course share it with your family and friends and subscribe to NDTV for more such content.